right, we are recording and we are live. Oh my
Woo!
gosh, live. Hey Lars, how's it going?
Hey Danielle, I'm glad to be here with you and sharing gifts for everyone listening.
Yes.
Lars, how's it going?
Uh-oh, wait
Hey
one
Danielle,
second.
I'm glad to be here with you and
This it literally happens every time. I haven't learned my lesson yet to just close the browser. All right, friends. Well, welcome to another live recording of Lighthouse Live, a show for all of us to gather, share space, and witness each other on this journey of perfectly imperfect leadership, showing up. And today, I'm really excited to be with Lars because he is somebody. Just in the time that I've known you, Lars, like it just remains special. We could go months, years without seeing each other. And then when we're in the same space, we're just like, there's just so much love for you. And I feel that back from you. And that was one of my first experience was with you. I was like, wow, this guy is connected to love. And so thank you for how you love and for just taking time today to be with us.
Thank you so much, Danielle. And I'd love to start with a poem.
Yes, please.
This is one of the most recent poems that have come through me, and it's called I Trust My Life. And for everyone listening, just let this poem light a fire inside you of trusting your journey, even if it's going in directions you didn't think it would be. I've been having that a lot these days. And we can always come back to, even though this is confusing, scary, uncertain, unknown, I still can trust my life because there's something happening here that we may not even know. So let's play. Unworthiness is like a curse. Some of us, they have it worse. I can't. It's hard. I don't deserve it. How can I trust I'm really worth it? What if I show up as me? Will people still show up for me? I don't know. I'd rather hide, falling down the inner slide. I wish that I could trust my dreams. I wish that I could have a team. What if I chose to heal my shame, trust my heart, and get out of my brain? I choose to feel my deep deserving. Let go of smallness I've been serving. I'm here for beauty and expansion. Opulent, my inner mansion. All it takes is my sole choice. I easily can use my voice, loving all that I am. I pass the final exam. I own my value and gifts. I heal all my rifts. I let go of strife and I trust my life.
Yes. So good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was a treat. I didn't know we were gonna get a Lars King original right off the bat. So good. If you're watching live, let us know. How was that? Yeah, I started getting goosebumps. Because I resonate with that fresh channel that just came through. Like, I know in my journey, I'm definitely in a place where it's like there's a choice of trusting, like choosing to trust our path, choosing to trust what's happening even on our path when it doesn't make sense. So, thank you for that.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, amazing. Um, so where I would love to start with you, my friend. So those of you that have been around Lars, like Lars moves around in the world in a very unique way. If you know Lars, like you just won't see him or know what he's doing, then he'll just be like, bam, like he's just doing this super cool stuff. And so when I took a course of yours, the 10x learning course a
Mhm.
couple years ago, and that was such a amazing journey for me to see what was possible for my own mind and for my own field of intelligence.
Mm,
And one of the big things I took away from there that I would love to start with and just see if anything has evolved in your experience of this is like potential, our
mm,
potential, what our potential as leaders, as humans, perfectly imperfect humans, like what are some of the new codes that you are witnessing
mm.
in shadow and light and anything when it comes to our potential?
Mm, great question. I'm feeling so much around community these days and community support in that can activate so much of our potential. Have you ever noticed that when you're with a certain person or a certain group, a whole different version of you comes out to play?
Mhm. Yeah.
That that's what I've been feeling into so much recently. And not only that, but when we can be with people that can mirror our highest selves to each other while also mirroring our shadows to each other in a space of acceptance and love and also accountability, that's when we can grow exponentially because we can meet whatever in us that is not yet on board with our rise and be with that because that's foundational. And then it's kind of like a rocket ship. At a certain point, the rocket ship has to let go of the dense energy so that you can keep going. And then so that's required. That's step one. And then is just our inspiration feeds off each other. Our visions feed off each other. And we all have a puzzle piece of that.
Mm.
When we can surround ourselves with people that inspire us. For example, Danielle, you inspire me. And I've heard from you that I inspire you. So that means we're already a match because that's guaranteeing that we're going to support each other in that rise. And we're in this phase in our culture of going from this lonely, lone wolf, do it all, overly masculine to this ancient future of we have deep support and we feel supported. And that's the key is feeling supported. For me in my journey, I didn't even know what that felt like until the last couple of years or so, actually feeling supported. Because people in these communities, we can talk a big game about all kinds of stuff. And you see it all the time. Oh, people even say that they're enlightened, and it's like, especially in the coaching world, it's like, who's to say what's what? And what I come back to is how can we be congruent in what we say, what we do, public, private? And I'm on my journey of that. But
Yeah.
my driving force here is honesty. How can I be as honest as possible with myself and others about where I'm at and what I'm inspired about, and then just show up with that, at that being enough.
Right.
And that's like we all meet in that place. You can share what you're inspired about and where you're at, and then there's going to be, if we're called to come together, there's going to be a spark there, and from
Mhm.
that spark something good will happen, and it's about trusting those breadcrumbs. That's what I find.
Mhm. And not needing it to be perfect or needing us to be perfect or us to be the enlightened one
Mm-hmm.
all the time, right? Like it almost is like what's most important. I don't know. Everybody's going to have a different thought around that, but what I've been feeling more that we're all reaching for is more realness. Just
Yes.
like what's actually real,
Yeah.
the only being one way here and then one way here, there's that like it's not congruent. Like I think the restoration of the realness in
Yeah.
us, which means like yeah, we have fears.
Yeah.
We have stuff that I love that you spoke to that sometimes maybe it can't only be healed and looked at in community, but it sure does make it easier,
Yes.
when you're held in that.
And can we accept that too? As just part of the inheritance of incarnating on earth at this time. Like, okay, well, look at the last few thousand years. Uh, all of that violence, hatred, disrespect, all of it is still in us somewhere. And then we can either it's going to be running in the background in a sideways way, or we can actually go, okay, this is what my lineage has been carrying. Like it's right here. It's in me. And then how can we move forward with that? And that takes maturity. And that's what I'm feeling inspired about, not only in myself and my friends and circle, but in the spiritual communities. It's maturity, because it's so easy to just fly around dimensions and blah blah blah, but it's like, what is that? And oftentimes we don't even know what that is, because our parents were just traumatized kids and vice, and continuing. So maybe we're the first ones in a long time who are going to go, okay, I'm fully responsible for myself, etc., etc., etc. And then that's some high energy, actually. To me, that's much more interesting than some cosmic code. It's like, whoa, like, okay, let's really sink our teeth into that.
Yeah, and let's bring it here. Like, let's bring it here to Earth. Like, sure, leaving is cool, and knowing that there's other things out there is cool, but when we look around, like, what's actually happening around us on the planet, and how can the service, how can our healing, how can our enlightenment translate here, like
Yeah.
actually here. And I think of that every day. This wellness center is across from a sober living house, and it's in a place in our town that was highly ridden with prostitution and gambling and like so much trauma. There's Indian burial grounds everywhere, and it's like, if this isn't a safe place where everybody can come, then I'm not actually doing my work, right? Like, and this is what I think is cool for everybody listening today to see. And Lars, your journey, totally from what I've, learned from you over the years, is a reflection of this too. Like, this can translate to being of service and being helpful here.
Massively, because here's the thing. When we are willing to live in this way, and especially as men, willing to open up and go, I need support, and this is what's real for me, it's huge. And if we're willing to be the example of that, it doesn't need to be some big flashy thing, just even with a friend in our lives, being honest, that is going to raise the frequency and inspire so much. Because don't underestimate how much you can inspire someone just by the choices you make, even the inner choices that you make. Like, that goes into your field, and everyone will feel that, whether it's obvious or not, because we're all feeling each other. And even this conversation, there's 10 trillion things being transmitted right now, but we're only listening to the words, but there's so much more. And just trusting that the small things you do every day, and when you lean into that, oh, I never done this before, oh, this feels uncomfortable, that is so powerful. It has a ripple effect, and it touches everything.
Yeah.
Just knowing that, it's kind of like this humility that, like, wow, I barely know what I'm doing, what's happening in my life, holy shit, how am I going to pay this bill? And also, everything I do touches the whole world. Every choice I make is so powerful. How do you hold both of those at the same time?
Yes. That humbleness, like staying humble on our journey, like you said, it's how you show up in the not knowing, in really knowing. Like, everybody double click on that, or write it in your journal, or like, let's just remember, it does make a difference. You do make a difference just by the tiny choices you make. I talk to so many people that are waiting for those big moments, the big wellness center to be built, right? Like the big amount of money to be made or whatever. But it's like, the sweetness, the sukha is in the tiny moments where you witness yourself, you witness your humanness, you witness your softness too, right? And to have leadership that is very real about it. I've been real the whole time about the struggles that come along with having a brick and mortar, a place like this, and a place where healing is pretty new and self respect is pretty new. So it's like that dance of the duality,
Mm,
right? Like, are you feeling that more and more in your journey too? Like, we were talking before we got on, like the initiations.
mm.
Like, there's so much initiation in duality right now. How has that been like landing for you or showing up for you or anybody you're around?
Yeah, awesome question. And two things I come back to in these initiations, and it's actually the way I work with people too. It's typically every situation is going to usually require one approach or the other, and one that you consider masculine, one you could consider feminine. But one approach is using your will powerfully, making really clear intentions, choices. It's like the magical self that is just manifesting things, and nothing will stand in its way. This is what is happening, and being really clear with that inner authority and your true power. And the other side of it is just being really, really authentic with your tender heart and your feelings, and just letting your inner child just feel and flow and express and cry and scream and rejoice, whatever that is, for your tender humanity. And I find that when we can balance both of those, that's when we're really aligned. Because
Hmm.
I love this image of this higher self that's behind us, just like holding us like from above, like, yes, like I got you, like a wise elder. Our present day personality right here, making choices using my will, and then my inner child that I'm holding right here, that's just really tender and really sacred, and just receiving everything and responding and playing, and it's all at once.
Hmm.
And all of that is actually always here. It's just about expanding from just being locked in here to
Yeah.
high inspiration, really tuning into your soul, and then just like really tender, and then also genius and truth, and it's just everything.
Hmm.
That's what I strive towards.
Yeah, yeah, and it's all right if we don't get it right, you know. It's all right when we go into our tenderness. Like that is what's real. You know, especially now because like you said, who knows how big this current purge is. Sometimes I underestimate how big this current shift on our planet is. Um, and as we embody tenderness with self, it's such a permission slip for everyone around us.
Yes.
You know, to not be ashamed of the parts of us that are hurting or wounded or scared or like you said in the poem, like that have the fear.
Mhm.
And when we can like normalize the fact that like you said, it's like it's kind of part of being here right now, but it doesn't have to be the only part of our experience.
Exactly. It's we're the ones who are meant to bring security to all of ourselves. We're the ones to show up. There's this quote that no one's gonna save you, and you're the one actually, and you can, and you are. And the more we show up for ourselves, it's kind of this like paradox, like which me is showing up for which other me. Well, we're very complex, but who we are is loving presence and loving awareness. And like Ram Dass talks about, I am loving awareness, and that's true for everybody, whether we've found that yet or not is okay. But the more we can access that, whenever these storms come in, it's just like, okay, how can I presence that, but while also being loving awareness for that? And we're not going to get it right every time. We're not going to be able to do that, but sometimes we are. And the more we create those pathways in our brain of just like, I'm here for me versus holy shit, then we actually build self-confidence and self-trust, and we know that every time that we get knocked down, we're going to stand up faster.
Right. Yeah. It's like shifting the self abandonment. Uh,
Complete.
Like I was taught how to abandon myself so well, right?
Yeah.
Through so many different ways. And that even went into my healing journey, and into my leadership journey and entrepreneurship journey. But now I'm seeing like, oh, just because I mess up or get it wrong, or, things don't work out, I don't have to make it mean anything anymore. I don't have to make it mean anything about my worth, like that poem said. And I think that's a message for everybody out there today that's listening to this. Like, we are really recoding how to be gentle with ourselves,
Mm.
and trust. Like the poem again, that poem, we're just like flowing off of it. Like, trust yourself. Like, trust the things as they come up
Mm.
too within you. Yeah, that's really feeling like it's hitting right now for me. So
Yeah.
thank you.
And I love to give myself a helpful frame that may be supportive for the people listening. And the frame is that this is for me. Whatever comes up, this is for me. And if we're not able to feel or believe in that in a certain moment, that's okay. But it's just holding that. Okay. Maybe when I'm ready, I'll grab onto that.
Hmm.
And then I'll grab onto it and go, okay, how is this for me? Because it always is. But it just depends on how you want to frame it.
Hmm.
And if you give yourself, this is for me, there's something there.
Right.
And you might have to sit with that. You might have to explore that, but it's like a gift that's gonna unravel. And it's gonna be like, whoa, I've always been blessed.
Hmm.
I've always been guided. What?
Hmm.
No, certainly not there. Oh, wait a second. Well, I needed to do that, to do that, to do that, and now I'm here. So wow, just like I'm getting chills. Like, yeah, just like exploring that, even that was planting a seed for me that was gonna sprout.
Mm.
Who knows when? But it is seeing through the veil of the illusion that things are wrong.
Hmm.
Because when we can actually see a deeper level that everything is being guided perfectly,
Hmm.
whoa, that's a recalibration to life itself.
Hmm.
Because then it becomes from this, I'm this separate person who's striving and struggling and uh, trying to. There's a way bigger web of life that is divinely. It's a divine symphony that I'm an intricate part of. Even in all of the stuff we've been talking about, that's part of this divine symphony,
Hmm.
and we can relax into it, and we
Hmm.
can pray and trust and really just dance ultimately with this
Hmm.
divine symphony. Even I've been feeling really heavy recently. A lot of stuff's going on in my family, like really dense stuff. And that's still part of my divine symphony. Because guess what? It's about pulling back the bow. I do archery. I'm also Sagittarius. We love archery.
Hmm.
You pull back the bow. So heavy, heavier, 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 heavier. Boom! Bullseye. But I needed to touch that
Hmm.
deeper, deeper, deeper darkness so that I can know what true lightness is, because I feel that is important to me to
Hmm.
feel light.
Hmm.
And I'm getting an initiation of this doesn't feel light at all. But
Yeah.
but it's all part of a greater story, a greater dance that I don't know what it looks like yet, but I can just relax into it.
Yes, and it's okay to not like it right away. I
Oh
think
yeah.
a lot of times, like when hard stuff comes through our experience, it's like, oh, the spiritual thing is to just immediately like it and know that there's purpose. Like, you can say that all you want, but also it's okay to not like it. It's all right to be pissed about it. It's okay to question it, to kick and scream a little bit, like, let's not rob ourselves of like actually feeling the things as they come through. Because what I'm finding now is that resilience that you're building, that we build as we keep showing up, that doesn't go away, even when you let yourself feel the momentary, like, what the actual fuck is
Mm-hmm.
this? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is going on? I don't like it. This is not comfortable, right? Like, the part of you that is like resilient and knows it has purpose, knows it's a part of the dance, that part doesn't go away. You
Yeah.
may like not feel it in that moment, but they're still there, you know? So Thank you for that reminder that we can beautifully dance through these life experiences as they come. And I hope this is helpful today for our friends listening, because all of you are out there, whether you're in the mastermind, whatever part of this community you're a part of, like, you are often the one in your family,
Hmm.
your community that's out there standing and holding a lot,
Yes.
right? So, let this be a loving invitation um, to relax into your own dance
Mm.
as it's happening,
Mm.
you know. So I have one more question for you, my friend. So since I've known you too, Lars has been the Sagittarius is such a cool, like, imagery, but I also get, like, he's like a guy with a really cool tool belt. Been collecting tools for a while now, transformational tools, growth tools, healing tools, all of that. And we could go on and on and on about the tools that you have studied. Like, a couple of them I've really wanted to do with you, but would you share with us, like, what's one of the tools that you are really feeling connected to right now that you've been working with? I know you've done the eye mapping or the family
Mhm.
constellations. Like, there's so much stuff, but is there one that's like, you're like, oh, this is one I'm really connected to, or even that you're offering right now so people know that it's available and what it is?
Yes. Two come up right away that I just am so excited about. And they're things that not that many people in the world are doing. And I'm like, this stuff is so potent. Let's grow this. It's so needed right now. The first one is called body electronics. And I was going through all kinds of different healing modalities, and I was making some progress here and there, but I was still really numb and locked in my head. And when I found body electronics, whoa, my heart just started to release all this stuff that was held right in here. And I'm like, why didn't you know this was there? And it's basically a resurrection technology where what is stored and held, not just from this life, but from hundreds of lifetimes, just stored in your subconscious, gets a chance to rapidly release. And I like to think of it like the Pez candy. You know, when the pet candy pops out, there's another one, and there's another
Mhm.
one, there's another one. It's like rapid fire, like release, 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 release. And afterwards, people literally look many years younger. Their issues or health issues, their emotional issues are dissolved.
Mm.
People have vision come back during the session. Their hearing comes back after decades. Like there, some broken bones even healed on the table. You're laying on a table and people are holding you and actually holding points in your body, meridian points. And as you breathe really deeply, all these memories surface. And sometimes they're even pre-verbal. Like you don't even know how to say anything because you're just touching something so deep. And this really excites me because I believe that a big part of why we're here
Mhm.
is to transmute and let go of all the density that we've been carrying so that we can actually be who we really are, which is loving awareness, like I was talking about.
Mm.
But it's not just as easy as talking about it. You got to actually let it go from the deep, deep tissues. And
Mm.
oftentimes, if we don't feel safe, we need a really big, like, like spiritual intervention to just like create so much safety and just boom, 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 boom. And finally, it comes out. And that's what that was for me. And
Mm.
I did it multiple times, and every time it was deeper and deeper. And I was so inspired about this that I even started creating these retreats based on body electronics with my partner, who also received so much from it. And I just love it because people come in with a miracle. I ask, what is your miracle? And they share it. And every time they have the miracle and more, it's like, yes, it's the gift that keeps on giving. So that's what I'm inspired about as a tool.
Mhm.
And the other element is what I shared with you before, which is eye reading. And this isn't just some eye gazing thing. This is like an actual map that every single one of us has in our eyes. And in this map, every blood vessel, every color, everything is a specific code of your unique soul's journey and mission here on this planet. Before I did this, I was just like, what's my purpose? Is it this? Is this? Is this? Now it's right there. The eyes are the windows to the soul.
Mm.
And the cool thing is, when you transform your consciousness, the map of your eye will actually change right away based on what you do. And for example, certain blood vessels mean something and they're pointing toward the colored part of your eye. But then once you heal that topic, the blood vessel will start to curl around, and it's called a healing hook.
Mm.
So I'm like, oh, I've done healing there because it's now hooking around where it was just straight before.
Mhm.
It's so amazing.
Mm.
And I've gotten quite good at sharing these and doing these with many people. And someone shared the other week, that was more clarifying for me than 20 years of mainstream therapy.
Mhm.
I'm like, wow, thank you. And I'm not surprised because this is just so laser focused and
Mhm.
I love sharing it. So those are a couple of tools. There's so many more. There's
Mhm.
something called the Path Work.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've heard of it.
Mm-mm.
It's free, it's online, it's so deep. There's it's called the guide, and the guide is sharing through over a couple hundred lectures about all of the like the most nuanced psychological, spiritual, subconscious aspects of our being.
Mhm.
And it's so profound. One thing it talks about is a core image, which you could say is a core illusion. And everyone comes into this life with a core illusion and then what's called a vicious cycle. The vicious cycle is the events that we keep replaying and replaying and replaying from the core illusion. Core illusion is something like, one of my friends, one is I'm all alone. And then based on this illusion of I'm all alone, he created all of these different traumatic experiences that all link back to that illusion because
Mm.
we're creating from our subconscious. And it's people think that, oh, I'm just I have a nice mindset, so I'm always going to create good stuff. Why is this still happening? It's because the subconscious is still having a very different experience.
Mhm.
So that's the most important, finding out what is held in the deep subconscious. Family constellations, like you mentioned, is so good for that, and just rapidly letting go of lineage burdens, just so you can actually be the free soul you came here to be, instead of carrying all this and carrying all that. It's like Santa with a big sack, but it's not gifts until you transform it into the gift, and then you can carry the sack of gifts. Otherwise, it's the sack of coal, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's the idea, is that's the big picture of what I love, is just let's find out what's really going on, really going on, meet it at that fundamental level, transform it with love and clarity, and then
Mm.
for the rest of someone's life it's going to be a different experience.
Yeah. Ugh. So cool. Yeah.
Yes.
I gotta talk to Lars about tools because I know he like, yeah. So two things. One, fam, everybody listening, I have it on my radar. You guys know I like to make stuff happen. So it's on my radar to get Lars and his partner at a retreat. Like, let's just put that into the ether because I know people are gonna want, and because you guys offer body electronics.
Yes.
Cool. So seed planted there, everybody. And then my question on the eye reading, is that something you can do virtually?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And you are currently offering that for anybody interested.
Yes. And
Cool.
right now it's been more like based on word of mouth and referral. So if you're listening to this, now's a good time, because I'll probably definitely be sharing more, and it's going to be a different situation. So get
Yeah.
in on the ground floor kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in before I have this baby. I think that would be a really cool thing to do before baby comes.
Yes.
So I'll reach out to you about that. Cool. And we'll make sure everybody has Lars's contact information, how to get a hold of him, stay up to what stay connected with what he's up to, because you're just such a light, my friend. And thank you for always being a yes when I approach you with like random things like Lars, let's connect. It just means so much that you will share space with me like this. So thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm so blessed to be connected with you. I'll not forget our session that we had years ago. And may I share something about what
Yeah.
came through. Y'all, Danielle came in for a session years ago. And that was when I was doing more like psychic reading stuff. I do a little bit these days, but it was just, that's where I was at. And Danielle was in a place where she was having this option between her rise and going back and getting a job, kind of like red pill, blue pill moment. And I was just like, oh my God, I just saw her. I'm sure all of you see her too. I was like, you're a warrior of love. Like, whoa, so obvious to me. And you just like kind of like your head to like, whoa. And then you like clicked and you're like, oh yeah, that's true. And then ever since then, you've just been fully in your rise. And you, from what I know, you let go of that job timeline
Yeah.
pretty soon, and you just went for it. And I'm so proud of you because not everyone just swallows that red pill right away. So really proud of you, and what you've created is so impressive. It's easy to do another 50th yoga studio in Austin comparatively, but to do something that has not been done before in the place that you're in, and just not having done anything like it, like, it's so impressive. And not just the studio, but all of the intentions you have, the community you're building, all the people listening to this, gathering these souls. It really takes someone with a lot of strength, courage, and determination, and I see you in that.
Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you. Wow. Well, everybody, let us know if you were here, what came through for you, how you're feeling, what resonated. I'll make sure you have access to Lars, and we just keep going. You know, who knows what kind of conversation we'll be having. We got a whole lifetime to do this wizard shit together. So thank you.
Exactly. You're welcome.
We love to end with a deep breath. So, and we'll do some love beams. So we'll rub our hands together, and we'll take a big breath in, and we'll just beam it out. Thank you so much, Lars. We'll see you soon. We'll see you for my eye mapping reading.
Sounds great. Talk to you soon. Love you.
Bye. I love you guys so much.
Bye.